Hi guys, welcome to Collaborator. For today's tutorial, we will be showing you some basic elementary programming within the Java programming language. Like we said from some of our previous tutorial and our course guide, elementary programming is very important because it helps to make you understand some of the syntax and the basics that you need to know about Java programming language, and it will also help you that in the project and some of the exercises we will bring for you in this course, so you can understand and how to apply them. So for today's tutorial, we will dive deeply into some basic elementary programming. And if you're just getting started with us in this tutorial, or you might want to watch some of our previous tutorial where we introduce the outline about this course and some of the project and exercises we have for you in this course, where we introduce them and how we are going to do them. So you can also subscribe to our channel and click that the notifications button to get notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you guys. Let's go directly now into our exercises for today. So here I have the IntelliJ compiler. If you just starting this course with us and you don't have this compiler, we got some tutorial that shows how to download and install it. If you also have some other compiler you can use, it's fine. Okay, so we showed three kinds of compiler in this course, like the IntelliJ, the Eclipse, and the NetBeans. If you have it, it's fine, but if you also don't have them, you have some online compiler, it's also fine within this tutorial. Alright, so here we come here and we click File and we click New and we click Project. So how to create a project within this compiler? So you come and you click Java, right, and you click Next. You can name your you can create projects from template, that's fine, but it's not very important within this tutorial. So we will click Next, and you can give the name of your project. So after you have given the name of your project, the next thing you want to do is to click Finish, right? For this tutorial I won't name my project because I already have a project, so I'm not going to create a new project. So I will close this. Now after you have created your project, the next thing you have is this template, just like this, and you come to the source folder, which is the src, and you give the name of your Java class. So you click and you click New, you click Java class, right, and this will pop down. The next thing you want to do is to give the name of your class, right? So we say Java Basic. Good, and you click Enter. Alright, here we go, and we have this interface now wherein we can write our Java program and all of our program instructions that we need. So I will just expand this. I will expand this so you can see it clear, and I will close this. Very good. Alright, so the next thing we will write is our entry to our Java program, which is our main method. Say public, and good, here we go. From some of our previous tutorial I introduced all of these things, and I told you public or access modifier or public class, and it helps to access other classes, and other classes can have access to the main method. And we also introduced the name of the class. So here we got Java Basic is the name of this class, and we told you a Java programming language is case sensitive, and whenever you are naming your class, in order to follow the syntax of Java programming language, you need to start with an uppercase letter. So here we say Java Basics, and the first case is an uppercase letter. Is always used within the Java programming language, no matter what name you give your class, but the first letter should be an uppercase letter. That's the syntax of Java programming language. And the next line here we have our public static void main method, and this is like our entry to our Java program. This will access all the other classes, and it will give us our entry or like our access wherein we can run our program and get our result. So these are just some of the basics, and I explained it in some tutorial, so you can watch them deeply and you understand. Okay, The next thing we want to do now is to write our statement, our output statement. So let's write some basic output statement within the Java compiler. So let's say output, document it first, and we say output statement. Good. So which kinds of statement we want to output? First, we will begin with the two kinds of ways we can output statement using the CLI, command line applications interface, or command line interface. So there are two ways in which you can output your statement. The first one is from the command line terminal or the shell, and the second one you can also use a GUI, which is graphic user interface, and you can do that using message dialog box. So we will also show you how to output your statement. So the first thing we want to do is to write system.out.println is our output statement functions within the Java programming language. So we say good. Alright, here I can output my statement. Now, like I said from the previous tutorial, this compiler is very good to use. There are some tactics you can apply, and I don't know for some other compiler, but this compiler, IntelliJ compiler, there are a lot of things you can do. In case if you want to write huge lines of code, there are some ways you can do some abbreviations and you write less code and it still suits your case. So if you want to write system.out.println this statement, you don't have to write everything words by words. Using this compiler, you can just write SOUT and you click enter. Automatically this will pop out and you get this, right? Then you write your comment or your statement. So here we have two output statement. So what we want to output is what we are going to write here, and in order to output you have to write the double quotations so that when you are using a string, and we told you there are a few kinds of data type we will be dealing with on the way. We got string, we got double, we got let me separate them, sorry, double, and we got like float, we got integer or int, and so forth. So these kinds of data type we will also use them and as we move forward. So at first we will use the string data type, and in order to output string you have to use double quotations. So there are other data types too involved, but this is just a sample of like how we are to output certain data type or certain result. If you want to output double, you cannot use a quote, like we have to move the quote from in between, or float, you also have to move the quote. But once you want to output a string, you will use like double quote. If you want to output character or char, which is char, yes, you also have to like use these quotations, the single quotations. So there are a lot of syntax that you need to understand when you are dealing with the Java programming language, right? Okay, so let's move forward. The next thing we want to do is to write our output statement. And here, let's say welcome to elementary programming. Good, because this tutorial is all about elementary programming, some of the basics that you need to understand so that we can apply it in a big volume or bigger volume when we have brought the projects to you, and some of the things that you need to understand about the exercises within this course, right? So the next thing we want to do is to be a little friendly, so we say welcome. My typing speed is pretty sad. Welcome to our code Liberia. Okay, here we go. So welcome to code Liberia, and we output this statement. We output them. So this is the end of this. All right, good. So we output then and see what result we have. Okay, my compiler is running pretty slow, but let's wait a little seconds. All right, here we go. Now you see, so we have our result that says welcome to elementary programming and welcome to Liberia. So this is just a one way to output strings or to output statement within the Java programming language using a CLR, which is the command line interface, or you can also call it command line applications interface, right? So, and we output our statement within the shell or within the terminal of our compiler, right? So this is just a one way, and this is the syntax of how to write a statement and or string statement or string data type. And I told you the various kinds of data type we have, like a string, we got double, float, int, character or char, and we will be using it and so many other data types, right? So if you want to output a string data type and a statement, this is how to write. And if you want to output double, there are other syntax that you can follow, right? Now here I have system.out.println. Welcome to elementary programming, right? Okay, there are two ways to output this statement and you can get it. The next one is GUI, graphic user interface, is usually called graphic user interface, or using the meshes dialog box, right? So let's try to output this statement using the meshes dialog box. Some cases you don't want to use this using the terminal to output your statement. Here using this black screen to output your statement, you want your statement to be outputted in another form, right? So it's called meshes dialog box, right? So here we will include our library. So we say import and we say java dot swing and we say j option penny, right? Or j option pen. Okay, now this is the library. We have included a library within our class, and the next thing we want to do now is to write our output statement. Now the differences between this is that when you are outputting statement within the terminal or outside of the on the platform of the terminal or the template, there are different ways you can do, and you can only use the system.out.println. And if you are outputting statement outside this terminal, you don't use system.out.println. So this system.out.println belongs to this terminal, right? Simply means it just belongs to this terminal. When you want to output statement within the terminal, you use system.out.println. But other ways you have to use different syntax, right? So the next thing we want to do now is to comment this. So we write our double slash. Okay, now you cannot run it anymore. So what we want to do now is to write our library. Now let's try to bring this guy down here. Okay, here we go. Now we have this, right? All right, we say j option now is pop up because the library support it. We already in like call it within this class, so the library has recognized it. It has been recognized within this class. So this is it, j option penny. Now we click enter and we click dot show meshes dialogs box, show meshes dialog, and you know, and we just come down here and we want to like be pretty fast about this one, and we copy it here. We copy this line. Good, here we go. And we come here and we just insert it here, our double quote, and we insert it. Here we go. So this is the end of this line, and we come the next line. We also read, because we have two statements here, right? And we say jpenny.show meshes dialog and no, and like we say welcome to Liberia. Good. All right, here we go. So this is the end of this line, and we have two output statements. Let's run it now to see the result that we have, so you know the differences. We will close this and we run this. Okay, my compiler now will soon bring the result. Like it says that we have some little error here, so sorry, that was fast writing. Okay, now this shouldn't have been here, it should be like after no, and we got this here. Very good. All right, here we go. Now it's good. The next thing we want to do now, this is like you can verify it well. Okay, now here we go. It can be outputted now. Okay, we try to run it and see. So guys, basically these are some of the challenges within the compiler, and then when you are writing a program, sometimes you will have some error on the way, so you can recognize the error. This is all about the programming process, so it's not everything that is unique. Sometimes you write a bulk of code and at the end of the day you find error. Sometimes you write a less numbers of code, you find error, right? Okay, so this is how to print or output statement within the Java programming language using a graphic user interface. The other way is doing it by server-based applications, and we will do it and we will show you some other applications we can do and some other thing we can apply to output our result on the web page. But this is just the basis about our CLI, command line applications interface, right? So this is the second step of how to output statement using the message dialog box, right? Some of the exercises we have, we will do more things using the message dialog box, so you can know two different ways how to output statement. At first we deal with the command line, or wherein we output our statement within the terminal down here, and then the next is we output our statement using this message box, right? So it says welcome to elementary programming. Now if we click this, we will also get the second statement. This is the first statement, welcome to elementary programming, and the second statement, it pop up, we also have welcome to Code Library. So guys, basically this is how to output statement. And if you also want to output or data type or screen data type, this is how to write or screen data type, and we show you the two kinds. Okay, here we go. Now here is the kind of data type we are dealing with. We are dealing with a screen data type. We show you how to output it using our system.out.println that will print out to the terminal or the shell here, wherein we can get our result on this black screen. And the next step we shows you is how to print and using the message dialog box that just pop up and we see our result. So guys, this is just for the first tutorial. We will close this, or we will comment it, and the next thing we want to do now is to write our next exercise. Okay, all right guys, let's get started. Now what if the questions is given to you that let's use some example here. Let's get this guy from here, the last statement. Okay, here we go. Let's put him here. Okay, let's put it here rather. All right, so here we got system.out.println welcome to Code Library, right? You can use other statement too that best suit you. It's fine, you don't have to use specifically Code Library. So if you have this kind of statement and maybe like your teacher or some other person bring their assignment to you and to write this statement multiple times, let's say about 20 times, right? If you are being asked to output this statement 20 times using the terminal wherein this can print here welcome to Code Library, welcome to Code Library, until it reach the numbers of 20, right? Now what is your format? How do you want to print out this? What method you will use? So at other case, other people maybe like some choices, people want to like write this or just copy and paste. Maybe that's the easier way. Copy and paste, copy and paste. Very soon. like I can do it. That's my way, and I copy and paste, copy and paste. Here we go until it reached to the numbers of 20 or the count of 20. It will be too much, you know. In our previous tutorial, I explained how to manage the memory of a computer, and how when you are running your program, there are a lot of challenges happening within the underlying architectures of the computer, and I introduced all of those things. You can watch some of our previous tutorial where we shows you how to manage your space, and like if you are given such tasks, you have to manage what is called time complexity. It's very important within the programming language and precisely in real world applications. So if you are given some huge tasks and that require this kind of thing, you don't need to write it over and over the days. One of the simple methods you can use is by writing a loop, right? Once you use a loop can do a lot of things. And within the Java programming language, usually there are other programming language you can use on loop, but precisely I always relate to Java programming language because this tutorial is all about Java programming language, right? So in most programming language or Java programming language, there are kinds of loop you can use. We got the for loop, and we got the while loop, and we also have the do while loop, right? So let me write it here. We got a for loop, while loop, and we got a do while loop. Very good. Good. Okay, here we go. It's correct. All right, so we got the three kinds of loop that we use basically, and you using this loop, it depends on what you want to do, what kinds of problem you want to solve, right? So just in case if this kinds of task is given to you, that you should output this statement, this single statement, welcome to Collaborator 20 times, right? And you use this format. Okay, let's assume we use this format. Yeah, let's wait a little bit, or the code is actually running, so let's wait to see the result. Okay, here we go. Now you see, welcome to Collaborator, welcome to Collaborator, welcome to Collaborator, until it reached to the numbers of 20. Yeah, we don't have 20 to be precise, but like this is just an instance or like some scenarios, right? So if our target was to give you the collaborators up to 20, right, is you cannot do this. Okay, so actually it will give you your requirement, it will give you your result. Yes, it's true. If anyone tells you that it won't give you your result, that isn't actually like right. But what happens is, if you are giving a very huge task than this, how can you manage your time? And if you have other things to do, right? So this is not the right way, and it will not manage your space, the memory of your computer. That's one thing. And another thing is that time complexity. That is the second thing. Another thing is that it's not the right way. So what you want to do is to use the loop, right? To use the loop, because if this is given to you like 1000, welcome to Collaborator, right? 1000 times this is output the statement. You cannot continue to print and paste, print and paste, print and paste, print and paste. It's time consumption, right? So let's erase this guy from here. Let's erase this guy from here, and all right. So this is the end of this line, so you can see it clear. I know I got like the recording screen here, so I will be bringing it so you can see it very clear. Now, okay, we will use the for loop to certify these conditions, right? We will use the for loop to certify the conditions because we want to loop until it reaches to the numbers required. So let's say for, and we say int, let's say a equals 0, comma or semicolon rather, and we say a less than or 20, and we say a plus plus. All right, then we put our second bracket here, right? All right, now here we have to close the bracket, and I told you it's very important because sometimes it will print up error, so you have to take that into considerations. All right, so here we have it for int equals 0, for int equals 0, and we say a is less than 20. So what we did here was we declare, and after that we initialize, and like through our initializations we give the conditions and we give the incremental operator, right? So first I would like for us to run it, then I will go deeply into the explanations. So let's run it first and see what next. All right, it's actually loading, and guys, you really have to be patient with my compiler, because like there are a lot of things in my system, so it will actually take time for my result to output. Okay, here we go. All right, so you see here we got welcome to code Liberia about 20 times, right? And this suit our requirement. So you see, the first method we use is good. It satisfies the questions. It's true, but it was not the right answer, or it was not the best choice. Let's say that way. It was not the best choice. I think this is the best choice. Or if you also have some best choice, you can share with me. But this is the best choice that anyone will ever want to use, because it helps to make you write less code, and it helps to to manage the space of your computer. So what if you have been asked to write this 500 times, right? Now see like the number of time, or the amount of time that I've taken to just read the 500 times welcome to code Liberia. So this is the advantage that this one stands for, and you have more advantage. Very good. You see, welcome to code Liberia 500 times. You see, so much, so much. You see, I'm less screwing up. You see, okay, this is the end. So 500 times welcome to code Liberia. So, and I use a very less time. So this is how it works. Now let's go into the explanations. Here we use the for loop, right? And we say int, we declare int. Okay, and we say a equals 0, and we initialize the data type, right? We initialize the kinds of data type we are using. A equals 0. After we are declared the kinds of data type, because it's an int data type we are dealing with. So first we declare to identify the kinds of data type we are dealing with. We are dealing with int. We got double, like from the kinds of data type I told you about today. We got string, we got double, we got float, we got int, we got char or character, right? So yeah, what I did was I declared the data type and I assigned it to an int or int value. After that, the next thing I did was to initialize. So I initialized it, a equals 0. This is the initial value of a, right? And then I give the conditions. What the condition says: if for int a is less than 500, right? If a is like less than 500, then what else you do? You loop. And then what kinds of loop? Like you're using for loop, and the conditions support like incremental operators. There are two kinds of operator basically we use. We got the incremental and the decremental operator. So if you're using the decremental operator, you just remove this from here and you write minus minus, right? Then it will be decremented. But we are using the incremental operator, so we use plus plus. Good. So here, after we have initialized and it execute at once. After the initializations, it execute at once, right? And then it will continue to loop. It continues to loop until the condition has been met, right? So a is less than 500 or like 20. First we have 20, right? And we change it to 500. So here we have a. The assigned value to a is what? Is 0. So our condition says if a is less than 500, increment until you reach the count of 500, right? So the incremental operator continues looping until the conditions has been met. So here you got up to the numbers of the conditions, that is given. So there are so many ways to do this, but I think this is just the best choice and the best option to apply this methodologies within the Java programming language, right? So if you are giving a task to loop and or to print out a statement multiple times, this is how to do it. Another way is that you could use J option penny the show message dialog box, and let's say no, and you write this same statement there, right? It's the same thing and you will get the output. So I want you to try that as we move along. You can pause the video and try using J option penny message dialog to output this statement to the count of 500 or 400 and to see the result. Okay, all right. So this is just for this other tutorial, and we will move to the next step of our tutorial. Okay guys, welcome back. This is just the new template wherein we can write our program. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now is our next exercise is to do some computations. So let's write a program that compute or error of a cycle and to give the readers. So let's first in order to solve these questions, we have to declare some kinds of data type, our readers or our area of the cycle. So we have to declare them, because like taking the real world applications and converting it into a program is one of the critical part within the programming aspect. So once you can understand the syntax and or you can understand the concept around in which you can take the real world methodologies and convert it into applications or program that a computer can read and interpret, that's the most important part about the programming. So it's not about writing code, no, because one thing I should tell you is that even some of the professors that teach all along the way, many of them always say that they cannot remember all of the code they have written, or some of the code they even forget after they have written it. But the most important thing is that knowing what to do and how to convert our real world applications into a machine language so that the machine can understand. That's the aspect of programming, right? So for our exercise today, we will do some conversions, how to like compute our area of a cycle. So the first thing we want to do now is to declare our data type. So we say double, and let's say radius. Let's say radius. Okay, I think it's correct. And we put our semicolon. Let's write here declare. Declare. Okay. Can I use capital? DECLARE. Okay, here we go. Okay, the next thing I want to do now is to declare my my area of a cycle. So to say double area, and where I put my semicolon, and let's say put my double slash for my comment, and I say DECLARE. Alright, here we go. Now I introduced the various kinds of what just happened. Okay, I introduced the various kinds of data types that we need to use and on the way, and I've introduced them, but I will just bring this here so you can see, so you can like always remember exactly what we are doing. So okay, here we go. Now at first I introduced string, and this now I'm introducing double. This is the double data type, and how to output statement using the various kinds of data type. There are so many syntax you have to follow, or so many rules you have to follow. The path to outputting a string data type cannot be the same way with using or integer or a double float or other step of data type, right? So after I've declared the kinds of data type, I'm dealing with. Let's close it down. Okay, very good. Here we go. Now, after I've declared the kinds of data type, I come down next step and I try to assign the value to the data type, right? So I say let's write assign first. Assigned value to data type. Good. All right, here we go. And let's say readers. Very good. So one of the most important thing is that once you declare the data type and you come here and once you write the data type, it can be called automatically. So I got readers here because it has already been declared. So I say readers and I say reader equal, let's say 40 semicolon, right? And this is let's write some comment. Sorry, I always like to write comments so you can understand exactly what we are doing. So let's say new value of readers. Okay, so the reasons I said new value of reader is that because I declared it first and I didn't assign you any value. So once you didn't assign any value, is initially 0 and there is no assignment to it, so it's initially 0. Now once you try to assign a new value to it, now then you have to like write it as a statement so you can understand and to know the difference actually. So at first we declare it, yes, and we didn't assign any value, so in the program is initially 0 because it has no other value assigned to it. Right now we assign a new value to it, which is 40. So the next thing we want to do now is to compute area. So let's say compute area, compute the area, right? And let's assign, let's say area, good, and we say equals readers, and we say times what we say readers. So area times radius, this new readers, let's say readers, and times, and we say times, what's the formula? Is it a formula? I forget it, but it sounds like elementary high school actually. But let's say 3.1 let me guess, let's say 3.141415 okay. Actually I might not be right, but this, I think this is the number and this is the area of a cycle, the number. So I think this is the standard number. Very good. All right, here we go. So we write a formula here. Area equal reader times readers times 3.14, right? And the next thing we want to do now is to write our display statement or our output result. So let's say our output result. And what kinds of output result are we going to use within this tutorial, this one? So in this program we will use like the command line terminal output result. So we say SOUT, 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 and we click enter. Here we go, we have system.out.println. So the next thing we want to do now is to write our double quote, and we say the area for the cycle of readers. Can we come down one step? Okay, let me bring this here. All right, here we go. Of readers is, let's see, readers, and we say is, very good, and we say plus area. Alright, here we go. Now, so we output our statement here. Here it says system.out.println, which is the output statement functions, and we say the area for the cycle of radars. Then we say radar, which is the result, and is area, and we get our result. So basically we just run it first, then we go into it. Alright, let's see what we have. Here we go. We have a little error. That's good. Sometimes when I have error, I actually like, it's good to have error. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's better because like it make you to understand some few things and how to go about debugging your code. So we have an error where it says, okay, Java class interface or non-exception. Okay, so what we have the error are wait let's see the kind of error again we are dealing with because like it's always good to rectify the error before going about solving it. Okay, or interface, this is a syntax error, sorry, it's a syntax error. So let's see, here we have like double breaks or bracket, or let's see, oh okay, here we go. Now this is it, because like when I was doing the other program and I have like triple of this, so now I will, let's remove one of it and we have two, then I think here we go, it will be good now. All right, let's close this a little bit and we see if we have, no, I don't think so. So we come here and try to see clear. All right, now let's run our code and see what happens. Let's run our code and see the result. All right, here we go. So what we have here, okay, now this is our result. The area for the cycle of radars 40 is, now we got 50, 26. Okay, this is the number we have, and you got point after, right? All right, so we got up to 5,000 and plus like that, right? All right, so the next thing we want to do now is let's try to divide this so we can get the answers very clear. All right, no, all right, okay, yeah. Now let's try to separate it. All right, okay, here we go. Here we go. So I just run this and we get this again, so we can read the numbers clear. All right, here we go. So this is our answer. The area for the cycle of radar is a radar 40.0. So it's reading in double data type. If we read in int, it will be 40. You won't have the point, but because we declare the data type as double, so we have the double data type, the point in between to separate it. So the answers we have is 5,026.544, right? So this is the result of what we have, 5026 and 544, or you can like assume 5,026.544. So this is just the answer of our double data type. Another way we can like do this is to change the kinds of data type. So let's say we change the data type to int, and that means we get rid of the point there, but because of this, it does not support these kinds of data type because we are dealing with the float. So that means we will have to remove the point in between. So if you remove the point in between, then that means is outside the script now is not or area or formula or area number anymore. You're dealing with different kinds of thing. So that's why we decide to use our double data type, so it can read the float or the point in between rather. Alright, so here we go. We will consider double back, but let's see if we use float. Do we still have problem? Alright, no, it still doesn't support it, right? So these are some of the things you need to understand at what case you can use this and at what case you can also use this. So these are just the basic things within the Java programming language. Alright, so we will just close this and move to our next exercise for this. So before then, this is the code. Let me close this so you can see it clear. Can I change this first before we double? Yes, this should be double, and let's change this guy back to double. Yes, here we go. All right, thank you. Good. So we have this. Let me try to bring it closer. All right, so we have it here. We declare the kinds of data type we wanted, and we use a double data type. Area is double, readers is also double. After we declare it, initially their values is 0, 0, 0. So later on we decide to assign a new value to the reader's data type, and here we assign 40 as the new value to the reader data type, and we decide to compute it using the area. And this formula, I don't know if I'm right, but I'm sure that using this number 3.1415 now, yes, it's correct. If it's not correct, you can also comment in the description below so I can rectify it, but this is it. And how to compute is the process. Now another thing is that system to out of print in is the way in which we can write our output statement. And if you also want to call this number, the numbers of the readers, like we have it here. Wait, let me show you. Like we have it here, the area for the cycle of readers 40.0 is to call this number. Here we call this number because within the screen statement we don't have 40. We only have the area for the readers, for the cycle of readers. We don't have like 40 here, 40.0. we don't have it at all. So here we call this data type, and this is how to call a data type. This is how to call a data type within like using the output statement, right? So we call the data type here. Another way we can do this is, let's say south. All right, now we say readers. Very good. Let's comment this. All right, here we go. Now let's run this and see what we have. These are the basics, guys. So I just want to go into it deeper. I know it's time consuming, but like it's better to understand these things and how to apply them, because the project we have about 25 projects, like a lot of things to do. So if you understand all of these things as we move along, you can apply them. All right, here we go. So you see now we got it, the 48.0, right? So this is how to call a data type. There are some other way we will do, and you will also see, and we will apply them, right? Okay, so this is just for this tutorial, and I will close this and we move to our next tutorial with okay. Here we go. Our next tutorial is how to like write comment. So like we have shown you how to output statement and how to like using the message dialog box, and we also show you how to print a huge amount of statement, like some other looping statement, and I'll show you how to compute. So in order to compute to continue in some other aspect of this tutorial, I want to bring you the basis of how to write or how to output statement, like which we have done, and how to write comment like in your output statement, and how to like apply some other syntax of it. So in this tutorial we are going to write some statement. So at first what we want to do now is to write our alright. So now, like I said, in order to write our statement and to like write some basic things in our terminal, we need to like use some library. So at first we use this library, input java the swing.j option penny, and we use it to use like the message dialog box actually. But there's another way. Now we have to erase this guy because we don't need it anymore except like when it's required. So we have to use another library that is called let's say java .util. Let's say java input or java util scanner. Very good. Alright, this is the library. Now this library will enable us to write some statement within the terminal of our compiler, within this terminal. So the next thing we want to do now is to declare our scanner input. So we say our scanner input yeah, we say our scanner input object declare. Okay, here we go. Let's comment this. Alright, here we go. So the next thing now we do is to say scanner, and we say our xc equal new scanner system.in. Good, here we go. This is the way to declare our input or our input data type. So we use the xc, which we assign to the scanner input. We can use other kinds of data type. Maybe we can say like double, we can use float, we can use others. But first you have to predefine like the scanner input so that you can write or input within the terminal. So this is what we're doing here. We write sc. You can use others, it's fine. Now the next thing we want to do now is to write our screen, our output screen. Okay, so guys, I just read this code and I finished. I explained everything in details. So we say let's say string, and we say name equals input, name equals xc. This should be xc. To call this, we say next line. Yeah, let's say next line. Okay, here we go. And the next thing we want to do now is to our characters, which kind of character we want to write. But before then, let's come here and say characters, and we say input the kinds of character we want to input, and let's say character input char gender, and we say equals xc. This should be actually the capital letter, and let's say next dot char at 0. Okay, there we go. And we said number or numerical data type. Numerical NUMERICAL. I think it should be this one. Okay, and we say input. Good. And the next one we want to do is to say byte. Alright, so let's deal with other kinds of data type. Let's say byte and short, and we say float. Yeah, and let's say like that. This one we deal with them. Alright, int age equal xc dot next int. Alright, here we go. The next thing we want to do now is to write double. We say cap. Let's write something there. Cap equal xc dot next double. I think, yeah, next double data type, because this is a double data type. And we say long. Do we have long? Yeah. Let's use other data type, and we say mobile. Mobile number equals xc dot next long. This one, int h equals xc. The next int, yes, this should be this one. I didn't put the cut. Alright, so here we go. And we write our display statement. Let's say south, and good. Here we go. Print in and semicolon. Alright, here we go. And we say name. We call the data type here name. That's one. And this the data we declare. Name. And the next thing we do is to let's call for others gender, and we say gender. Did we declare? Yes, plus gender. Alright, let's write one more. Let's say good south, and we say age. Here we go. And let's say what we give age. Can I say the age and double? Can I say salary? Or let's say GPA, and let's say double, and we write something for GPA. Let's say GPA, and let's say GPA. Very good. Alright, this example is enough. Alright, so guys, basically what I'm doing here is to I'm applying the method in which you can use to output like string or like output any kinds of data type, and then like you can also write the data type you want to output. So here I declare the kinds of data type, and we using a scanner input is a defined library within the Java program, and after that I pass the data type, and there are various kinds of data type we are dealing with here. We have the screen data type, which is this one, and we have the char or character data type, which is assigned to gender, and we have the int data type, and we assign it to age. We also have the double data type, we assign it to GPA, student GPA, and we have the long data type, and we assign it to a mobile number. So let's try to do it for the long data type. So let's say south. Very good. And we have this. So here we go, and we insert for the mobile number. Let's say mobile number. Okay, here we go, and we come here, we call it mobile number. Very good. Alright, so now let's run it first and see what we do here is correct. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we have. Alright, so the first thing we want to write is name. So let's say our Liberia. And the second thing we want to write is, let's say, gender, and age. The gender is male. Can we use other name? So let's say John. David King. And sorry, it's actually my fault because I use different name first and I like let it to run. So let's say John. And the second thing we want to write is the gender, male. And the third thing is age, let's say 17. And the fourth thing is the GPA, let's say 4.0. And the fifth thing is the mobile number, so let's say R0, and we just write random number and we click enter. So you see, this is what we have according to the kinds of data type, right? So this is exactly what I wanted us to do, to see how you can write some kinds of data type and it can give you like what you have written, right? So every data type specifically within this program is assigned or every output is assigned to a data type, right? So we declare the kinds of data type that we wanted to use. So we got in the screen data type and for name, and we got a char or the character is for gender. So here I should have used character because I'm using char, so it will give you a single letter. But if I have used character, it was going to give me male, the full spelling of male. It was not going to give me the first letter. But this is how the char data type operates, right? So the next thing I did was to declare, and then for the int data type, and I wanted for age, right? So it gave me the age. And then I also did for double data type. It gave me the double data type. Then I did for this, which is long, and it gave me. Now I don't want us to do it like alphabetically, like or the way we wrote the program, right? So we will close this and run it again and just write it randomly. Then as our program will like schedule it and fix it according to the kinds of data type and give all the output. So let's try to run this again and you see what happens. Alright, so let's just write it randomly. The first thing we want to write is GPA, let's say 4.0, right? The second thing we want to write is name, let's say Mary. And the third thing we want to write is, let's say, age 27. The fourth is let's say, what else we have, number, and we should have one more thing. And what is that? Let's check it. GPA, let's say gender. Good. So let's say gender female, which is just. Now let's click enter. We have some exception because we should have written the full. So let's try it again. Sorry, no, I just read a single character. Let's say John, and let's say float is for the GPA. Alright, let's say for the age is 77. It's pretty it's pretty old. Let's say for the age, we got it. Yes, we got a GPA. Yes, we got a gender, male. Okay. And let's say for what else again? Okay, it's end. So now what we can do with this program is to write it alphabetically, right? So we will write a program that can like guess the number and the kinds of data type according to what we have written, right? So here this program only certify the conditions that you can write, and then alphabetically it give you what you have written, right? So we will write a program that will give us randomly, and it will like select the kinds of data type. Alright, so guys, this is all for this tutorial, and then we move to the next tutorial. This is all for this program. Alright, so I will just close it here, and this guy, okay, very good. I will close it here and close it here also. Alright, here we go. Now, very good. Okay guys, welcome back to the next tutorial. This tutorial we will do some computing again. We will compute our average. So before we move to that next program, we will compute our average and how to compute some numbers and get a total and get the average of it. So is what we are going to do in this tutorial. Okay, so the next thing we do is to write can I say our scanner input, because you already know. So let's say scanner input, Good. And we say scanner, and we say our input equal new scanner system.in. Okay, here we go. The next thing we have is the kinds of data type that we want to use. So we say data types, right? And data type. Okay. Alright, so we say south. This time around I want print, and we say enter. Let's be little like friendly. We say please enter 3 numbers, right? And we say double. Let's say number 1, and equals input. Let's call the scanner input here, so that we were able to input our numbers, and we say input dot next double, because it's a double data type. If you are dealing with a string data type, you will use input dot next int. If you are using our string data type, you will use input dot next. But if you are using an integer data type, you will use input dot next int. If you are using a double data type, you will use input dot next double, right? So this is the pattern, and you can just copy this actually, and you come here 1, 2, and 3, because there are 3 kinds, and we change the numbers that are assigned to it, number 2, and this one should be number 3. Here we go. The next thing we want to do is to write our display average. AGV. So what next we want to do now is to write double, and we say average equals we got num1 plus num2 and plus num3. Here we go. And we divide it by the numbers of numbers we got, right? So we got number 1, we got number 2, and we got number 3. So we can also make it 4. Why not? We can make it 4. And let's just change the data type here to 4, and we add 1 more here plus number 4. Okay, and we change here the all over value. Good. Now the next thing we do now is to write our south. This is an exception value. No, it cannot be south. Okay, here we go, and we say print in. Can we start with cap? Average of, let's say, num1, num2, num2, num3, and the last one is what? Num4. And num4. Here we go. Alright, I will just break this line right here and bring it next. Okay, and we say is plus average. Alright, can I just let me just make the statement clear, not to just summarize. Alright, so here we go. Now let's run it first and see what happens if we have error. Then we can go into the explanations. Alright, can we make it like little friendly? Alright, please enter 3 numbers. Okay, so the first number is, let's say 70, let's say 20, and let's say 10. Let's see, 4. No, it should be 3 numbers. No, it should be 4. Good, because I didn't change the statement. Alright, here we go. Is running. I actually want the exact statement. Alright, so here it asks us to enter 4 numbers, and let's say the first one is 70. You can use any number randomly, let's say 30, and let's say 10, and let's say 5. Good, you see the average of 70 and 30, 10, and 5 is 28.75, right? So let's make it a little clear. Let's try to like make some distance in between so the numbers can be clear. Alright, here we go. So what we did, like we call the numbers and we try to print their average result. So you can see all of the numbers you have entered. Okay, please enter number, 4 numbers as well. So let's say 60 and 20, 40 and 10, right? Now we enter. Good. The average of 60.0, 20.0, 40.0, 10.0 is 32.5. So what is happening now is giving out the result within a double data type. I'm trying to use some of these kinds of data types so you can get acquainted with this within this tutorial, because it's very important, and as we move along we will be using some large set of functions, and you need to understand the kinds of data type we can use at a specific positions or a specific requirement. So in this program what we did is just almost the same thing in our previous exercise. We passed the kinds of data type and